Greetings, beautiful people. So in this video, I'm going to talk about an easy way to look at spirit attacks. This is how I see things when it comes to spirit attacks, okay? The easiest way to control the masses would be a control that they don't even know that is really happening. You know what I mean? People are naturally fearful and afraid of what the unknown is or what they cannot see. All right? The spirit realm is very real. But here's how I look at it. I always look at everything outside of yourself is what's going on inside of you, okay? Now, the way I look at this is this, okay? What state of being are you in? Where is your mental state at? All right? And I say this is the easiest way to look at it. If you physically live in a fucked up neighborhood, okay? That means that you are pretty much of a certain class, meaning you're not wealthy. You don't have a lot of money. So you have to settle for living in the projects. Cannot have your own home. You would have to be in the project. You pretty much live one on top of the other, one on top of the other, one on top of the other. You have all this Wi-Fi pollution in there. You got a lot of energetic frequencies going around. People of low vibration, low energy. And you get attracted to all that because you're very, very close to them. Some of the places people live in are so close that you can hear the conversations from just like a separation of a wall. That's it. All right. So with that being said, now this is how I look at it. Okay. If you're in a fucked up neighborhood, you have to worry about when you come out, you're worried about getting robbed, stabbed, raped, whatever your situation may be. Or if you have a car, you have to worry about it being broken into and stuff like that. All right. Now, if you're spiritually, mentally in a fucked up place where you're always focusing on the negatives and not looking at things in a perspective that much more serves you because you literally have that power to do so, you will most likely be spiritually attacked. And not only that, but the fear itself of being spiritually attacked creates that. Because from fear, see, a lot of these attacks come because they feed off that energy of fear. Okay? It's a low vibrational energy. All right? If you're angry, if you have a lot of, let's say a lot of emotions toward people who aren't on your level and stuff like that. See, I spoke about the art of letting people be and all that, right? But here's the problem with it, okay? There's different ways of seeing things. You see, matter of fact, I'm gonna make a video on this because recently I just saw on YouTube, it's like all over now that, for example, everybody's starting to pay attention to what happened at the Grammys where a black man was wearing a woman's dress. You know what I mean? There's many ways to even look at that. You know what I mean? Do we just let that individual be? Because first of all, here's the thing. I didn't even know who the fuck that guy was. I bet you that guy, from the decision he made to wear that dress, he's collecting so much energy from everybody because everybody's paying attention to him now, and energy flows where attention goes. Okay? So there's ways to look at this. Should you even be paying attention to that? Was that a situation that was created to harvest your energy? You get what I'm saying? So why? And look, you know what? I'll save this for a video because I want to stay on topic with what I'm talking about. All right? I'll make that video right after this one because it's going to lead into how you should now look at it and guide other people. Or like the people who are younger, the people who are, molding from their surroundings, you know what I mean? But the way I look at it is like this. If you're driving a car and somebody cuts you off, okay? And let's say, for example, he wants to fight, okay? Because you decided to feed into that situation, you lowered your frequency into a lower vibrational state to feed into an action that doesn't serve you. You get nothing out of it. See, here's the crazy part. That guy cut you off. He cut you off because he wants to get to where he's going at in a rush, okay? So he's an idiot for feeding into even you getting angry because now he's delayed just by even paying attention to you who got angry to begin with. And then you get nothing out of the fact that he cut you off because in reality, if you really look at it, you're only going to get to your destination, what, a minute later if he cut you off, if you happen to get behind a red light? Like, who cares? But the fact that now both feed into each other, you're fighting, you're arguing because he cut you off, and you want to call him a maniac for driving like that. Like, here's the way I look at it. An accident didn't happen. So who gives a shit what happened? You know what I mean? On the contrary, you're going to get to your destination under a minute later, okay? And he'll get to his destination quicker because that was his intent to do so, right? But the fact that you both fed into each other, you're both delayed now, right? And by minutes, it's not even by a lot. But let's say, for example, the situation gets very drastic where you both happen to get into a fist fight. Now the police get involved, you get arrested, and now you're very delayed. You get what I'm saying? So these are the ways in which you become spiritually attacked. Because let me tell you something. The fact that you fed into that, your body got inhabited by a certain energy that wanted to feed off that emotion of anger. Okay? There's different energies, there's different spirits that feed off different energies. You know what I mean? And this is why this happens. But if you don't know yourself, then you won't even be able to separate what you feel to what you are being influenced to feel. Okay? So this is why it's important to keep a clean vessel. See, here's how I look at this too. And this is actually a really nice way of looking at it. This is your home. Home is where the heart is. Heart is if you want to compare it to a car, the engine of your car. Okay? So whenever you get inhabited by a spirit to feed off your energy, it's like you got kicked to the back seat and that spirit took over the wheel. And he's directing where you're going now, as far as like getting into a fight. Okay, he's tuned the frequency in the radio, which means you have to be forced to listen to that frequency now. Let's say if you don't like the song that's playing, you have no control. He has control of that. And he also is controlling where you're going. You know, where you're going, what you're listening to, and where you're sitting. But if you knew your power, you would kick that motherfucker out or not even allow him in your space to begin with. And you can listen to whatever frequency you want, whatever song you want, okay? And you can go wherever you want and feel however you want and do whatever the fuck you want to do, right? Because you're in power. Now, home is where the heart is, like I was just going to get to. So that's like me being in my home and leaving my doors open. You see, you should leave your doors open because when you're open, you're open-minded. You're open to information, okay? You don't see you don't see things by oh, this is bad or good. You know what I mean? You can use either one to your advantage if you knew how to use those energies, okay? Now, let me tell you something about your body. You're always eating. It don't matter if you're listening, seeing something, smelling, talking. It doesn't matter. You're always eating. Eating. But here's the thing. When you ingest certain foods, food is energy, okay? Depending on where, like if you're eating meat, you don't know what type of state that animal was in before he died, okay? And that energy, for example, is something that you are ingesting. Guest. A guest is coming into your home. And you do not know how to handle that guest. You understand what I'm saying? So that guest is going to do whatever it wants with you. If I'm running a company, this is like your company. If I'm running a company and I have employees, I'm the employer. As the employer, I have to make sure I'm watching everybody, okay? And I watch everybody as a collective, as a whole, to make sure that I'm not getting robbed. Or I'm not getting, there's no thieves. There's nobody with a bad culture of honesty there. You get what I'm saying? But if there was, I would fire them. I would get them out of my space. And look at the word fire. You use the fire element to burn them motherfuckers out. Your body uses heat to kill out infections and bacteria out of the body, right? So you can imagine this by firing whatever energy you know that is taking. If you feel a certain way and you meditate, you can look at it as, okay, well, I don't want this feeling in my space. So you take a fucking your breath, your fire, and you just fucking burn them out of your space like a fire-breathing fucking dragon. Okay? And then when you let that energy out, there's an empty seat there. Now you can let some other feeling of whatever you want to experience be in that space. You know what I mean? So I'm not telling you that because angry is a good emotion. Okay, from anger, you can utilize that anger, and anger is a strong energy. It's a fucking good energy that you can use to power up anything you want in your reality. It's just like the sexual energy. It's not about suppressing it, it's about controlling it. You see, people lose control of that sexual energy by masturbating and you know, having sex with multiple partners. You know what I mean? Putting your seed everywhere like that, and your seed is literally your creation. This is your creativity that's coming out. And when you masturbate, excuse me, that's going out into space, into the air, to be harvested by the matrix. Excuse me. So this is where, now, if, let's say, for example, I'm gonna go back to the home part. If you're in your house and your doors are open, okay, your awareness is what filters what comes in and what comes out. Okay? So if you're in your home and you have a certain energy coming into your space, you could decide whether you want it or not. You could be like, yeah, I can use you, come in. Okay? But a lot of people are like with the doors open, but they're sleeping. So anybody's coming into their house doing whatever they want because the person that's supposed to be aware of what's going on is sleeping, so they can do whatever the hell they want. And what do? They could rob you of your energy, okay? And they could rob you of anything they want. See, here, people could rob you of your physical energy, which is money, if you're not aware, like in a business, because this is also a business. You know what I mean? And they attack certain frequencies. So certain organs emit a certain frequency, which is why we become diseased in certain places of our body. You know what I mean? So this is why it's important. And when you clear your space, that's why it's good to use your imagination. The breath is important. You intake and you could breathe in fire if you want. You could imagine there's an explosion going on in there. If you don't want nothing in there, you could just clear your space out and start anew and start inviting whatever energies you want into your space. You know what I mean? Your imagination is powerful. I've noticed I've been able to see we're so powerful we could transmute energies too. So for example, even if somebody in real life, let's say here, I say real life, how do we know that? But in this realm of reality, if somebody is talking to you and say, oh man, this is a fucked up day and this and that, how do you transmute that energy? You could feed into it by saying, yeah, it is a really fucked up day, right? And it's like, now you're both putting that energy out. And it's stronger because now it's between two people. But instead, what you could do if you're in God mode, okay, you can transmute that energy by saying, nah, it's actually a beautiful day. Why don't you see it like this? Look at the way it's going on. This is happening. And yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's not that bad. You know, from this, we like, oh, it's a rainy day. It sucks. My business is going to suck. Well, you could transmute it and say, well, hey, I mean, the people who come here, you already know they're actually trying to buy something because who's going to come out in this rainy day? You see how you could transmute the energies? So you transmute the energy and you made it into a positive energy. You know what I mean? I don't care what situation it is. You know what I mean? This is how it works even in business. When you train employees, there's never a bad day. Every day is a good day. I know this because I'm in management. All right? But you also make them feel like your business partners so they can, like, you know, be on the same page with you. But, you know, I've talked about that in other videos as to why you look at everybody equal. Because when you start to say you know something and you come from a place of ego and you want to look over everybody and say, hey, this is how it should be. And then when they don't look at it your way, you know what I mean, you get mad when it's really not their fault because they're indoctrinated into a system that makes them not see it the way you see it. And I didn't see it like that at one point. But I was, you know, I was one of the few that actually came out of that bubble and said, wow, this is not the way it really is. It's really this way. But back then you couldn't tell me shit because I would have been like, yo, go fuck yourself. I don't want to hear that shit. All right. So to really finalize this message about the spirit attacks, it's very simple. If you see somebody in the lower frequency, okay, you as an empowered being, you have to see eye to eye, right? But in order for you to see eye to eye, are you going to go down to their level for you to be able to see them eye to eye? Because if not, how could they even see what you're talking about if they're still on that level? Because you actually have to come down to that level. But if you want them to see your side of things and you're in a higher frequency and they're not, and they're just not knowledgeable, they don't have this conscious and awareness that you have because you've done more homework, you've done more research, you've cleaned your body, you've done more of the soul and spirit searching, you know what I mean? Then what you would do is you would bring them up to your level. See, now you're guiding them. You're like a Luciferian you want to talk about because people say Luciferians are bad. Luciferian means light bearer, okay? If I have a light to show you that there's a different way of looking at things, don't look at it from way down there, but come up here to my space and see what I'm looking at, then now you could guide them up here. But there's also a fucked up way of doing it through false information where this could be done in the form of religion. See, religion talk about Jesus is love, God is love, but what is love? Love is a tool. Love is a frequency. But that frequency could be used in the wrong way too, because from love, you could turn that into obsession. You know what I'm saying? So, and from obsession, I've seen guys kill their girlfriends. You know what I mean? So you could become so in love with something, you become attached to it now. And this is where you become attached to things in this physical reality. So if that story about your heart getting weighed after you die, is true, then what's going to happen is that your heart is not going to be vibrating high because you got too much heaviness, too much baggage, and it's going to be vibrating lower because this is what this realm is about, is low density, low vibration. So this is why the vibration of your heart needs to be higher, and that only comes through non-physical attachments. This is how you get your heart to vibrate higher, and looking at it from everything from a neutral standpoint. You know what I mean? And there's a way to look at being an observer. See, being an observer, you gotta have an experience here in this realm of reality, but it's all about being aware and conscious of what decisions you make to take the experience you're having here in this physical realm of reality. Because if you're just gonna go and say, well, I'm here for an experience and do whatever you want, you're doing things unconsciously, you don't know what vibration you're in, you could be open to spirit attacks. Because it's equivalent to you being in your house, falling asleep, and not being aware of the energies that are going on around you. You know what I mean? Now, there's also another way of looking at it. Like you coming out of your house, which is what we always do. We always turn toward religion. We always want to chase money, chase cars, chase girls. So we come out of our space, right? Out of our creative center to go outer space to become space cadets. And now we leave the door open, right? And now anybody could come in there. And now, not only is there not your presence in there aware or asleep, there's just no presence there. So now you're completely open to spiritual attacks. You know what I mean? See, there's a way of looking at it. If you're in your home, in your space, you leave your doors open. You know what I mean? And if you ever want to come out of your space, this is why in meditation, they always tell you focus on the violet flame, focus on, the golden ball around your body. This is the reason why. Because to an extent, you lose yourself. You detach from this physicality. You come out of your body. Like you don't even notice that you even have a body anymore. So the way to protect yourself from any attacks is making sure that you imagine, with your imagination, focus and intent and having an energy is to, imagine a golden ball of light around your body. Envision that violet flame around your body. And then when you know that you, with your power, made that happen, now you can pretty much go and explore different states of being. Because that's what dimensional traveling is just different states of being. You know what I mean? And I can tell you this from experience. I'm not telling you things I heard. I've had some very, very crazy experiences, especially during the moments that I have fasted. You know what I mean? And there's moments where when I'm clean, I notice that I sleep better, but I'm not sleeping as much. You get what I'm trying to tell you? Because even that leads you to spirit attacks. Because think about it like this. Every time you go to bed, a lot of people go to bed unconsciously because they can't remember their dreams. They don't know where the hell their spirit's going. You should be able to be conscious enough to be able to be aware when you're asleep. You know what I mean? Because what is the point of going to sleep 8 or 9 hours? And the reason you sleep that long is because your body needs to detox. Every time you sleep, you detox. So if your body needs to sleep that long, that means that you have a lot of toxins. You know what I mean? And if you sleep that long and you still wake up tired, then you need to really detox your body. But here's the thing. This is why I say that cleaning your body is important. Okay? I saw somebody put a video up about, what does urine really do? Does it really do anything? You know what I mean? It's just energy being recycled. Well, I also look at it like this. If you're still ingesting, let's say fluoride gets concentrated heavily in your urine. So all you're doing is looping that shit back into your body. All right. If you're energetically or spiritually in a fucked up place and you're just drinking that shit, yeah, you are re-ingesting that energy because what you're eating, you are what you eat. And if you're in that state of being, you're recycling that back in. Okay. But one thing that you could also utilize that urine for is to know that urine is cleansing you. It's cleansing you. But the same way that I tell you, if you knew how to utilize the energies of what you're eating with meat and all that, then you could transmute that urine back into your body. First of all, when I pee, especially the first one in the morning, I'll look at it and I appreciate it. And before I drink it, I state an intent of what I want that urine to do in my body. The same way when I healed this shit, listen, man, I'll fucking punch a bag as hard as I can. And look it up. Somebody who fractures their wrist ain't good for months. This happened like less than 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So I did things with intent. When you go into meditation, you don't just go into meditation just to feel an experience. I made my last video on how hypnosis works. Look at that video. Because here's the thing. People think that they look for a trance whenever they go into a hypnosis therapy with a hypnotherapist. But the thing is, they're going in there consciously aware that they're about to be hypnotized. But the reason you get hypnotized every day and don't even notice it is because you don't think about getting hypnotized. You go in there in a space of unconscious. Now, that could be utilized for good or bad. Because when you're meditating, after you've done all your fucking protection work and all that, now it's about letting go of the consciousness. Because if you go into the meditation consciously and aware, you're going to maintain in that consciousness and awareness. That's why they tell you focus on your breath, because you disconnect. You go into a hypnotic state by just focusing on the breath. Because, see, meditation is a focus muscle. So it's like an exercise. The more you exercise it, the better you could even focus here in this realm of reality. See, a lot of people can't even focus. They can't use their imagination because the moment they start to do that, they get distracted by all the different types of energies and thoughts. Okay? So it's all about maintaining a high frequency, high vibration. This could go into what you're listening to. Because if you're listening to music that doesn't serve you, the music could lower your frequency and vibration because it's not even in harmony with the universe. It's in a 440 hertz. It's not even in 432 or 528 hertz, which naturally raises the frequency of your body because it does it to sand on a speaker and it does it to water, forming beautiful geometric patterns. Okay? So it also goes by your intent when you eat. What do you intend for the food to eat? This is where the whole concept of prayer came in. You know what I mean? When people used to pray over their food, they're transmuting the energies. The sun, what was the point of that? To utilize the sun to raise their frequency. Because it's a natural frequency. The sun gives you a natural frequency. But people looked at it and misinterpreted for sun worshiping, and it has nothing to do with that. These people were using it to raise their frequency and vibration. When you're in a higher frequency and vibration, lower energies cannot even see you because it's the same way. They don't see eye to eye with you. But if you're lower in frequency, be ready to be spiritually attacked because you're even unconsciously aware that that's even happening. And your body may be so dirty that you won't even feel subtle energies of anything even being off in your body, equivalent to your house being so dirty that if somebody came into your home and stole something from you, you wouldn't even notice because there's so much clutter in your house to begin with. Okay? When you're in your home, your doors should be open. You're going to leave your doors open. And not to say that any negative energy or evil energy is bad, because from evil, you learn. Evil is darkness, right? That's what you are. You are the darkness. This is why they say the evil you learn. That's where the knowledge is. Okay, so if something, you could extract what you need from it, but you don't feed yourself into it. You don't make a soul contract with it. You just take what you need and then you keep it moving. The same way I tell you guys when you watch videos on YouTube, okay, how did the videos make you feel? If they make you feel fearful, then, you know, why the fuck am I watching that? You know what I mean? Can you give me a solution to how to come out of what you're telling me I should be fearful of? You get what I'm saying? So in this video, what I'm telling you is to keep your frequency and vibration high through what you ingest, focus, and intention, okay? And when you're in your space, your awareness is your filter to what you're allowing in your space and out of your space. If something's coming in your space and you don't want it in your space, you can just say, stop, get out. Because you'll already know you can't even be attacked. You know what I mean? So you're going to go up and down in frequency, naturally, but it's going to happen whether you have to be conscious and aware. That's why I said the awareness is the filter. Okay. I mean, that's all I have. So if you like this, like, share, and subscribe, and we will talk soon. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll talk soon.